Good morning, everyone, and welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea, presented by Reckless Coffee. It's Friday, Reckless Fridays. Oh, that did not work out well for me. I'm just trying out this
Getting a little
background
too
theme for
reckless over there.
yeah, a little too reckless for the background here. So yes, in case you guys didn't notice, it's me taking over the captain seat, the caretaker captain. I even got the Niners cap on. So if Timucin, you're watching, let me know how I did with that impression. I don't know if Anan, what do you think? Again, with the other third of the Friday crew, I'm here with Anan. Us working as a duo today. How's it
I,
going,
I
Anan?
think I think it's good. I think it's good. You just needed a little bit. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to American Scousers
Right.
Coffee or Tea, presented by.
Well, I can't exactly. I mean, I've been here a while, but not that long where I can
Yeah,
emulate
yeah.
our two
And
founders.
and and we don't wanna come him too much because then he'll think he's like Tiago or something like he's
Well,
important. So we don't want to do that. So just let's just leave him. Let's leave him out of it. Let's
well, I better
let's
take
let's
out
get
the Niners
let's
cap.
get reckless, brother. Let's get reckless. What do we got going on this Friday?
Yeah, what do we have going on? Sir Z says, good morning. Good morning, Sir Z.
Good
Alan,
morning,
good
Z.
morning to you as well. I wonder what the main topic is here today. Yeah, we are definitely going to be touching on that. And Ryan says, good morning as well. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning,
So
Ryan.
I guess there's no skirting around it. We're definitely going to go and discuss the topic that you guys have been clamoring about, which is whew, okay. So I'm a little new to this whole thing. So just give me a second here. Let me bring it up, share my screen there, and then there we go. I did it
There
right.
we go.
Yeah, Everton handed the 10-point
Woo!
deduction for financial fair play violations. Wow. And good morning to you too, Sporky. So Everton points ducking and on it's been going on for weeks, right? It's
Yeah,
been going on
yeah,
around. We didn't know if it was going to happen, if it was really going to happen, if it was just a rumor, because the last time this thing happened, considering that team was wearing blue as well,
yeah,
coincidentally, it
yeah,
somehow just ended up being piss in the wind.
yeah.
But I guess my first question to you is: are you surprised that it actually went through?
Yes, absolutely. But then again, I'm not, right? Because we've been hearing about the point deduction coming for a while. But then we're like, but City got away with it. So Everton's gonna get away with it. But then we're also like, okay, but City are a government funded team with a bunch of extremely wealthy lawyers and extremely wealthy people. They're not gonna get in trouble for anything. They'll sweep it under the rug. On the other side, poor little Everton, they're not a government funded team. They don't
Yeah,
got no oil. They got nothing. I mean, the only oil they, were able to find is to squeak their wheels this season to start playing well, and even then, it's not looking too good. But yeah, they're at 4 points now. They're in the bottom of the table, and I'm going to say this: if there was a season for this to happen and
mhm.
the teams still have a chance to stay up, it's this season because of the bottom performing teams are not doing much. So Everton in 2 games could be away from the relegation zone and could be battling for 15th place, which is where they belong. But still, it's
Yeah.
still pretty sad. It's still pretty sad. Uh, Look, I'm happy they got the points deducted. I hate them, but when are we going to start being fair to everybody? When are we going to have a level table where everybody, you make a mistake, you get punished for it this way, whether it's with refereeing, whether it's with financial fair play, whether it's with misconduct from managers? It needs to be fair, and it needs to be across all the table. Everybody has to deal with the same consequences.
Yeah, Ryan with a little reckless comment there. Gonna unzip his pants. Okay, we don't want to see that, my friend. As much as this news might be favorable for certain people, Chris says anyone getting joy from the Everton situation needs to take a good hard look at themselves. There's nothing funny about the situation.
I'm
Yes,
waiting for a punchline. I don't know. I feel like there's a punchline.
well, we've talked about it several times throughout, the past shows where the people who, obviously we live here in the States. So in terms of like our connection to the local side of things over there in Merseyside, it's inevitably not going to be as, deep as those who've, like, for
Right.
example, the likes of Kazi or Harry who've actually lived there for a bit. So I can see where that is coming from in terms from an economic perspective, right? A top flight club being relegated somehow possibly has damage, I guess, that's going to be done in terms of the local economy. Because if we're talking about, obviously Liverpool are miles above Everton, but Everton are still one of the founding clubs in the league. They're still very profitable. So them being relegated and on is probably going to be, it's going to probably have consequences for the city beyond
Yeah,
football.
so Everton have a very good loyal fan base, and with this going on now, they're gonna have more support than ever in a vocal way.
Yes.
Listen, Everton fans are gonna be like, "Oh, now we're in the relegation zone. We're done going to the matches." That's not gonna happen, right? But now the fans are gonna speak up more. Now the fans are gonna say, "Why us and why not City?" Manchester United are also in some sort of investigation about financial fair play regulations. So now they're like, "Oh,
Right.
maybe we're gonna get deducted points," and it makes me stop and say, maybe FSG has been doing it right all along. They're doing
Yeah.
it. They're doing it clean. We're just so angry that they're not signing players for 800,000 billion, but they're doing everything legal and clean, and it makes you say, "Wow, I'm glad to have owners like that that actually care about the club's future and not just what we can do right now." I'm still salty because why did City get away with it?
Yeah.
Everton only had a few charges. Boom, 10 points. City had like 100 and something charges. Nothing.
Yeah, they're
Nothing
saying
from
that
UEFA, nothing from
right. They're saying that Everton only had one charge. So
yeah.
like
So
if one charge can get you this, what
so
more
what would City
115?
do? We'll send them back to the freaking Flintstones. I mean, they have like
Right.
115 charges. So I don't know. Look, it sucks. It sucks for Everton supporters. It sucks for the locals. But as you know, our number one rival or enemy or whatever it is, sure, it's good news. But I look at this from a football aspect. I look at this from a Premier League fan aspect. This is not fair. This is not fair. This is absolutely not fair. Why can City get away with it and Everton can't? They went and they picked on the smaller club. They picked on the club that has less finances because they can pay less bribes.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah, yeah. They went and picked the club that can pay more bribes. Like, okay, you can get away with it. It's okay. And then they go to Everton. Listen, we know you're a local, local club. Your fans are all local. You're from a lovely little city. You know what? You pay a fine. The other guys are from across. They're from all their fans come from the UAE and other countries. They don't need to pay anything. They're our guests. I just don't think that's fair. I
Yeah,
really, I'm salty. I'm very salty.
yeah, it's definitely not. And like, even though I absolutely despise Everton as well, especially since they ruined my man Verge's career by cutting it, by significantly derailing it at his
Yeah.
prime, mind
Yeah.
you. Yeah. So, Chris says here that the only club to survive in the Premier League only having 4 points at this point of the season is Everton. So historically, I guess they're in good stead. Right.
Yeah.
So, which kind of leads me to my follow-up question. Yeah. So, I guess based on your comments, you think that this isn't going to be an issue for them, and they're going to survive comfortably despite this whole deduction.
Yeah. So I personally think Everton will survive just fine. In 17th place is Luton Town. There's a 2-point difference. Right above them is Bournemouth, 5-point difference. Everton will finish between 15th and 16th. They're going to be fine. They've been playing okay football, so they're going to be fine. They're not going to go down. And if they do, that would be honestly the biggest disgrace in Premier League history because of the fact that they're the ones that got the points deducted and not the other team that has a lot of money. Look, I saw the news. I'm like, woohoo, screw you guys. And then I'm like, you know what? That's just not right.
Yeah.
That is not right. How come City can get away with this and Everton can't? City can get away with 100 charges. Everton can't get away with one. This is bull. And this is just from a Premier League fan aspect. Forget Liverpool, forget United, forget Chelsea, forget all of that. Just as a person who watches football and believes that football's for all, that believes whether your owners are government backed or not, you shouldn't be treated different. And that's why I am very, very salty. Premier League, that decision was reckless.
Yeah, it pretty much was, considering, a certain sky blue team over there has, again, 115 charges. So what do you think, Anas? Does this set the precedent maybe for investigation, I guess, towards certain team in sky blue colors?
I doubt it. I doubt it. I think this is going to be, there's a no double jeopardy situation. That's it. We've investigated. We move on. And it's done. It's done. City will continue to get away with it. They just announced their earnings yesterday, the day before. Some very weird numbers, but I'm sure they made those numbers because of all their local support and their international support. I'm totally sure they made all these numbers.
How much was that? Like 700 something?
Yeah, 746 million or something. Yeah. They totally did not make that, but it's like, okay, Habibi, I will send it to you, and you say it's from the ticket sales. Oh, okay, and and they just play it along. So yeah, it's unfair. I'm salty. I feel for Everton. don't have to like them to don't have to like them for for a situation like this. We're not locals. We don't feel that rivalry. We just see the football aspect of it.
Yeah.
So when you look at it and you're like, they got deducted all these points for doing something that City has done 115 times more. It's so unfair.
Yeah. No, I mean, no comment from me, man. I totally agree. It's just, as much as I despise Everton, I think definitely at this point we just have to hold our hands up and say, hold on, like, why these guys, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be an appeal process. And I'm sure in the appeal process, they're going to say, well, fine, but what about Man City? Maybe this opens the door for something, but I doubt it. It's just, God, it's horrible, man.
Right. Chris says, once again, everyone talking about the Premier League and it's not about the football. Sad times. Yes, definitely. It's like whenever the Premier League is in the global landscape, if it's not about refereeing, it's about shit like this. So
yeah, and I agree with Sir Five Round, because we're talking about, like I said the exact, we're not Liverpool fans, we're not Everton fans, we're not Chelsea fans, we're football fans. And this is a disgrace to football, soccer. This is just, it's like a slap to the face to everybody else. It's literally the Premier League and everybody investigating is like, here's the deal. If you have a lot of money, you do whatever you want. No, a lot of money, you get in trouble. And that's not fair. So I feel for Everton. It's embarrassing on a professional level. And I hope they appeal, and I hope they make a scene out of it. That, why did City get away with it? We'll take the 10 points, no problem. What about City? That's all I want to ask.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be holding my breath, to be fair, but considering, there might be a possibility, right? A possibility is better than nothing.
Yeah, it's that 1%.
Yeah. What would you think? Because I've seen this on Twitter this morning about people talking about potential, punishments for Man City. What would be enough? Like, would it make sense?
Okay. So
would it make sense to strip them of their titles, right? And then name the people who came in second place as the actual
and this is wishful thinking, because we know we came in second place, right? But it's not going to happen. But if it does, listen, Everton got ducked 10 points for one charge. They're 115 charges. Do we duck them 115 points? I'm seriously thinking, like, do we deduct 115 points? But obviously it's not all from one season. So do we see from what season each one happened and deduct 10 points per charge? It's not going to happen. But if we want to set a standard, it's like when VAR comes in and they look at the video and they're like, okay, violent conduct, 3 red card, 3-game suspension for this. We need that to apply to everyone, not just Curtis Jones. We need that to apply to everyone, not just, I don't know, whoever other player. We need that standard to be there. This way, when we see it, we're like, yep, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. But now, it's just not there. Strip their titles, give Haaland and Doku to Liverpool. Yes. I don't know, man. I'm good with them, sprinkling a little bit of Rodri on there too. I'll take that.
Yeah. Kyle Walker here and there is back up to Trent, all that. Not? Yeah. So I guess before we move on to other topics, I guess if they were to be stripped of their titles, right, and we're announced as the champions, that wouldn't ring hollow to you at all. Like, for example, the seasons where we finished, 1 point less or something, knowing that we got there because of a technicality, I guess, as wrong as it was, as wrong as the technicality was, because it's a very valid technicality, mind you. But would it ring hollow? And this serves for everyone as well watching. Would that, being awarded a title because of Man City's cheating feel hollow? Sparky says totally hollow.
Dude, yeah, totally hollow. And I think I'll take it with like a grain of salt, and I'll be like, listen, yay. Okay, done. No parade, no party, no bus. Yeah. We just say yay, and we move on. Because it's funny, those 115 charges, some of them are players that are still playing for the club now. Those financial fair play regulations. So do we deduct points this season and every season those guys played? What do you do? Because these guys have not only broken one law or one rule, they've broken like so many. UEFA suspended them from Champions League, and then they said, Habibi, UEFA, come here. And then they're like, okay, they can play. So what do we do? This is absolute, and it's embarrassing. And I'm very
coming in on my end after you started.
They're coming to get you. They're like, what? He's talking about Manchester City. Go bring him.
Oh, damn.
I don't know, man. Maybe I'm too salty because I dislike Man City and I hate the way they do things, and I hate unfair cheating in football. But this is why I'm extra salty. Everybody's like, haha, Everton, fuck them. That's not, no.
Well, on a lighter note, Gordo wants Sir Z's requirements, plus Pep can't wear any more cardigans, I guess.
I don't know, man. I like those cardigans. I'm just gonna put
Yeah,
it
they
out there.
actually look
I'm just gonna put it out there. They got me interested in buying cardigans. I like his fashion sense.
Sir Z says he would accept it because we only lost by 1 point, and that is exactly what hurts there.
And two of those 1 point seasons, one was a very unfair call on Sterling, and the other one was because they cheated against Everton. Oh, what are the odds that penalty against Everton? That bunch of cheaters together. Today we cheat, tomorrow you cheat. Okay, good deal. Come on. God, this is horrible.
Darren's asking what's 115 times 10. I actually pulled the calculator on that.
1,150, no?
Yeah, there we go. Anan didn't need a calculator, so yeah, math was never my strongest suit. So there we go, Darren.
That would send them not to the 4th division. That would send them to the Shadow Realm. That'll send them here. They'll play with me in the Detroit Open Sunday League. You're like, okay, guys, let's go. Man, screw Man City. Trash.
Gordo says that he can't look that good. Yeah, I totally get it.
That's true. That's true. And not with no hair and still man, I struggle with hair, and my boy got boom, still looking. You know what? We're just haters. Okay, that's fine.
Finally, before we move on, Chris makes a very good point here. I hope this shuts everyone up about our lack of spending. You pointed that out, and I'm for one am ever remedy happy that our owners are fiscally responsible. So yeah, definitely gives us a bigger appreciation, I guess, of FSG,
100%.
how they're doing things. People talk about how they don't spend beyond their means, but at the end of the day, it's a business, right? We only spend what we make, and it wouldn't make sense to be spending beyond our means, or we'd end up looking like Everton or looking like Chelsea, who for some reason are also dodging these kinds of charges. But hey, I digress. That's a topic for another day. So speaking of Man City, speaking of cheating, speaking of shady, it's a little small, but this is essentially Rodri reporting a little bit of pain, discomfort to the Spain medical staff, and will miss their clash against Cyprus as a result. So that's one critical Man City player who's going to be relieved of international duties, while our guys are over there killing themselves. Your boy Darwin scored a really good goal last night to beat Messi. So yep. I felt like I had to say that. Anan, so I guess, are you buying this BS?
Yeah, let me first touch on Darwin scoring against Messi. Messi was watching him, and he was like, man, when I grow up, I want to be like Darwin Núñez. Yeah, it's bullshit. That's just like their spending and their earnings and their transfers, just like everything they do. It's bullshit. It's a game against Cyprus. Spain doesn't need him. I'm sure Pep made a call, and everything was clear. Like, listen, he doesn't need to be playing. It's a game against Cyprus. We've got a Premier League clash against Liverpool on the weekend. He has discomfort. They said, okay, he's gonna start. He's gonna have an absolutely amazing game against us, and everything's gonna be okay. I am not buying. It's like my prediction that remember my conspiracy that Trent wasn't injured. He just didn't want to play for England, but then he ended up missing like 3 weeks. Anyways, that's what's going on here. He's okay. It's just better safe than sorry. Don't want him to get injured against Cyprus. Haaland got injured for Norway, but he's okay, I'm hearing. But he doesn't do anything against us anyway.
Right. Gordon said Haaland went down. Núñez suddenly sick and doesn't travel. He played yesterday though. Does that mean for his next game? I mean, you would know Anan, right?
Yeah. No, not our Núñez. Their Núñez.
Oh, their Núñez. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. The Portuguese. No, not ours. Ours, dude, come on. I called him yesterday to check up on him after the game. He's like, hey, amigo, everything is good. I said, okay, we're good.
Cersei says, John, for the love of God, do not compliment it. I'll try, Cersei. I appreciate you bringing that up because I don't know if you know the context of this, Anan. When I wrote for the site praising Sobo, he hasn't been the same. So
okay, I need you to do a lot of praising for Rodri, and I need you to do a lot of praising for Doku.
Yeah. I was that's actually part of my notes here. So I was gonna say that if there is a player actually that I would like to genuinely be injured for Man City, it would actually be Rodri.
That's vile.
Right. So no. I mean, like, just being real. If there's a player that I do not want to be facing when we face Man City in terms of being an anchor for the team, like everyone talks about Haaland, everyone talks about De Bruyne, who's also injured, thankfully, right? Everyone talks about Bernardo Silva, but Rodri there, the reason why City are freaking world beaters or why they're allowed to get away with a lot of what they do attacking wise is because of Rodri. So whether he's injured or not, like, I sincerely hope that he misses our game. But yeah, it's a shame because he is undoubtedly the best defensive midfielder in the world.
I don't disagree. And the beauty of him is he's good on the ball and off the ball.
Yeah.
And he's a he's a joy to watch. So I 100% agree with you. I think Rodri is that one guy that makes a big difference. And to be fair, we hate him, but Bernardo Silva's been having a wonderful season so far. So I'm sure we're going to talk about this more pre-match, and we're going to talk about this as we get closer to the game. We're so far away because of this stupid international break. But we're in for a good game, and I think winner of that game wins the league. We say that every year. But I just think Liverpool and City are miles ahead of everybody else. But the question is, it's what Liverpool team shows up. Is it the team that played Luton Town? Is it the team that played, or Toulouse? Or is it the team that played the games before? Is it that very good midfield before you talked about Szoboszlai? So it really depends on who shows up. And I'm pretty confident that Liverpool will get the job done. I just still slightly concerned about something we'll talk about later, but McAllister at the 6. That still is something that
that's definitely something to be talking about in the pre-match. But I've been thinking about it as well because, man, that City team, in terms of having a combination of technique and speed and power, just the complete team. Unfortunately, in terms of it being legally constructed, that's a different conversation for a different day, right? Like you can't be that good and not be raising a few red flags here. Sparky says, to be the best, you want to play against the best. Yeah, that is actually why I despise.
And by the way, that is why the Liverpool training sessions, they play everybody against Nunes and Thiago. To be the best, you got to play against the best. So it's always like that.
Yeah, well, you would know because you're our insider inside the training ground for Nunes. Yeah, I'm still working on my badges to get in there through Gravenberch, but it's not quite working out, so.
I talked to Nunes to talk to Gravenberch to take care of you. So I'll see what we can do.
The thing is, can he even speak to Gravenberch, man? Because I know
sign language.
Oh, sign language. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they do a lot of sign language. Don't worry, I got you covered.
Yeah, he'd probably be saying, Ryan, thank you for support or something.
Yeah, Ryan, good.
John. Yeah, good, Ryan. Friend, John. Support. Something like that.
Goodness gracious, man.
Yeah.
I love Nunez.
What a goal, though, yesterday. What a goal.
Yeah, honestly, that run, that's the pace that is very special about Nunez. His pace for a big guy like him is second to none. It's such a beautiful thing to see. And just he didn't stop running. He kept going. He was boom, boom, scores the goal, doesn't know what to do to celebrate, goes behind the goal, does weird stuff. This is the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, the greatest of all time. I'm about to get blocked. Yeah,
I'm not going to go against you because, like I told you, man, Darwin is still my number one to start in the middle. Like, Tim is not here to shut us down.
Yeah. Let's talk. Let's spend the next 40 minutes talking about Darwin. Let's just say his name, Darwin. I'm just
Again, not risking talking about Darwin for the next 40 minutes, but his last game, his last game, because I genuinely feel we can go on a tangent here for 40 minutes. Talking about Darwin.
Yes.
But before we move on, his last game against Brentford was probably the best all-around performance I've seen him give in terms of, he got an assist, right? He got an assist for He didn't score, but in terms of like where he was, his positioning and everything, being a threat, what say you or not? Probably the best, wouldn't you say? Because, a lot of criticism goes to him about being, one-dimensional and a bit up here, right? A bit.
One of the biggest reasons why I say it's one of the best is because he's coming from a game where he had a big miss that could have settled a game, and that could hurt your morale and that could hurt you mentally. And for him to come out like that and have such a good game overall, on the ball, off the ball, drifted off to the wing a little, played at the 9. It looked good, and this is what we're gonna expect from Darwin. The more we put confidence in him, the more we trust him, the more we play him and start him, we're going to see more of that. And I know I've been saying this for a while, but patience.
I agree.
Nunez reminds me of the OG Ronaldo, but without the goals and without the bald head, just to put that out there.
Darwin looks way more fashionable with that man.
Yeah, and let's be real. Darwin is miles better. I'm gonna get killed for this. I'm gonna get killed for
Yeah,
this. I am
absolutely.
gonna get murdered for this.
I can put that as a short, and then we're gonna get the interactions up
Yeah,
considerably.
yeah, the clickbait interactions.
Right.
Yeah, no, I just want to be clear. To me, Ronaldo is one of the best players to ever touch the ball. I'm joking about
I
Darwin
love how
being
there's a
better than
disclaimer.
him. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to get that, bro. Trying to get people in my DMs, like, you dumbass. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna be clear here. I love
Yeah.
Darwin, but he goes nowhere near Ronaldo Nazario de Lima. That's the GOAT.
Ryan says Luis Diaz scored 2 against the best. Yes, we have to touch on that as well. Luis Diaz, glad to see him back. Glad to have his
Yes.
dad back in, and good to see him scoring against Allison. I don't know if you saw the goals; those were 2 very good headers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been mostly a great turnaround for a turnout for our attack in terms of the international game, because I think Salah scored 4 goals as well.
Salah scored
Yeah,
4,
Salah
yeah,
scored
against
4
Djibouti,
goals.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a good, if hopefully these shooting boosts that our attackers have can translate to when we get back to Man City.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so. I mean, if Salah gets 4 and Nunes gets 1, I'll be okay with it. No, but listen, the probably the biggest thing that I wanted to say is I don't know why a lot of the fan base, our fan base, and maybe not necessarily us, but I'm seeing a lot of the Liverpool fan base and social media and everything always hating on Luis Diaz, saying he hogs
I'm a
he
bit, yeah. You go ahead. I'm a bit guilty for that, but go ahead.
yeah, listen, the guy is an absolute magician. Yes, I get it. He holds the ball too long sometimes and everything, but dude, my goodness, Diaz on the ball is such a joy to watch. Gives me a Robinho vibes, but with more composure and more finishing. Um, I like watching him. I watched the Colombia game yesterday for him. Um, Amazing performance, and he wasn't going against Trinidad and Tobago like the U.S. or something. No, he was going against. He was playing Brazil. Scored 2 against best keeper in the world. Obviously, 2 good balls that came in his end and he scored. But still, in such an emotional time for a player like him right now, what he's going through, to put a performance like that, to put in a shift like that,
Yeah.
wow, he's impressive. We have a gem on our hands, but we for some reason have taken him for granted, and we be talking all that about him for no reason.
I mean, I feel like the argument that people give, like he's good on the ball. Again, you said holding onto it a little too long. The end product can be a little shaky at times, and I mentioned this a few shows ago that I kind of prefer Jota on that left wing, because you know what you're gonna get from him, and that is if he gets a sight on goal, it's a goal, right?
Yeah.
I like how, I guess, if it makes sense, I like how predictable he is in terms of what you're going to get.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
terms of like Diaz, where he can be either really high or he can be really low. Like he can be really bad one
yeah,
game and give the ball away with a
yes,
Cruyff turn outside the box. But if he's 100% firing, we're unstoppable. But
yeah,
then,
and
yeah,
I guess if the City game is tomorrow, do you start Jota on the left or do you start
oh,
Diaz?
definitely Jota.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Definitely Jota, man. Yeah. We talked about it at the post game, because I feel like with
Man,
City, right?
I'm out.
We're gonna be getting like a minuscule side of goal, like just a split second. And I want our best finishers to be there, if that makes sense. Like Jota Diaz on that left side is going to go up against Kyle Walker, who is pure pace. So in essence, his strength of pure pace is going to be canceled out, if that makes sense. I'd like a bit more intelligence there, right? Like in
Yeah,
terms of Jota knowing when to dribble or when to be a bit more cheeky with the ball. Then,
I can
yeah, go
see
ahead.
that. I can see that. But I can also say you've got a good right back. You want somebody that can beat him and go on goal the way Diaz does.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'd rather see Diaz going at Kyle Walker than Jota, at least to start the game.
I mean, the thing is, you can never really go wrong with an option. But then, what kind of for me favors this for Jota is, I think, in terms of form, you kind of have to be leaning towards Jota here. And Klopp is very much kind of a merit-based manager. So if we're talking about of who he's going to be putting there in terms of performance, like obviously we drew and lost a few games, but I think Jota was one of our better performers, right? And I'm not just being a Jota stan here. Like I wouldn't be necessarily against Diaz, right? And Cersei says your Diaz doesn't defend. That's true. I think the reason why Simicast wasn't as exposed against Brentford was that Jota actually went back to help, right? And remember, like, it kind of sticks out with me. It kind of sticks out to me against against Toulouse, where Jota. Oh, sorry, I keep getting confused. Diaz tried a Cruyff turn at the edge of the box, which led to Toulouse's was it second or third goal. So that's what I mean in terms of like the risk and the unpredictability that comes with, call me conservative, right?
Yeah,
Call me
yeah, no,
conservative.
it's understandable. In a game like this, you got to be conservative. This isn't
Yeah.
the game to go, oh, yeah, screw it, let's go bananas. You got to go, you got to be conservative. I still think Diaz starts. We'll worry about that when the time is for it.
Yeah.
I just think mentally Diaz is now in a whole new place,
Yeah,
and
for
this
sure.
could be good for us. We'll see. It's far away. We'll wait and see. But
Yeah,
I would
far
take
away.
Diaz over Jota in a big game like this, or like
Yeah.
United is a small game.
Either way, though, you couldn't go wrong with either one coming off the bench.
That is true.
Yeah,
That is true.
Yeah, because
You're gonna get something out of them.
yeah, kind of like with Jota, you could get like a decent finish. With Diaz, you could get someone causing chaos there on the left. So again, it's a big compliment to our options this year, where we don't have a set three except for Salah. Right, we literally could interchange everyone. Although I'm sure you'd say we couldn't interchange Nunez. So like over there in the middle,
shouldn't. We could, but shouldn't. That would be a big mistake. That's criminal.
Sergi makes a good point here as well. South American players coming back: Diaz, Nunez, Maka. Oh, we're gonna get to Maka, Sergi. Don't worry. Can't have all three players play for an early kickoff. Yes. Oh, look who it is! Tim is here, leaving you guys in charge. It was truly reckless. The risks we take to promote our sponsor. Hey, I thought we're doing a pretty good job, right?
No, he's saying we're doing a good job. We got out here getting reckless because it'd be like that sometimes.
Hey, Tim, you notice the Niners cap? I'm doing the best impression I can, man. So like, I should get points for that, right? So when we were flying at the start of the season, Diaz was starting. Yeah, I understand. Kind of like how Anan understands my Jota argument, Sparky. I do understand the Diaz side of things.
Yeah, so it really is what's our best 11 if the season we could only have one starting 11 for the rest of the season. And for me, Jota's no, and for me, Diaz is on the left.
You're kind of getting it. I was getting confused as well.
Yeah, you brainwashed me there. No, but for me, Diaz is on the left. Nunez is at the 9. Thiago is wherever he wants to be, and then the rest doesn't matter. So yeah, you get what I mean. I don't mind Jota. I just, if I had to, like, listen, you got to make that call right now. I am not gonna get reckless. I would just take Diaz on the left.
Fair enough. And again, that is a discussion probably for the pre-match. Speaking of our best 11, Van Dijk says here in an interview that his injury was very serious. It's not surprising that you get to know your knee again, so to speak, regarding his knee injury. But now he says he doesn't notice it anymore, and he hasn't had to change much in his way of playing, and he feels like that he could do anything again. So obviously, Anon, great news, and it kind of shows in terms of like our start this year that Big Verge is probably the closest, right, we're seeing in terms of getting back to his best. So I guess giving the floor to you, how would you judge maybe his first 12 games as Liverpool captain in terms of performance and his leadership and everything? Because this is a good sign. Let's be real.
We'll never doubt his leadership. He's been, to me, and Tim is not going to like this, he's been our captain for the last few years. I love Hendo. He's a good guy. I just always felt that.
Is he though?
Big Verge.
Right.
There's talks in Saudi that he's losing the captain's armband, but let's not worry about that. It's been Big Verge for me. I've gone as far as, even when I play FIFA, I make him the cat. Like I said, it's stupid. But yeah, it's good to see that he's feeling good. A lot of these injuries, and look, in no way, shape, or form am I comparing myself to these professionals. Right. These guys get paid to play. I pay a lot of money to play. So we don't wanna compare me to them. Like, people wouldn't put me on their team, so I give them a little extra money. You can call me Man City, okay? So when I go on a team, I'm like, hey, do you guys need another player? It's like, no, we're good. I'm like, Habibi, you sure you don't want another player? And then I joined the team. When I tore my hamstring and ACL and came back, the first 10 months, I was scared of getting injured again. Just all I would think about, what if this happens again? What if this happens again? What if this happens again? And that makes you play in a completely different way. Once you get over it, and you forget the injury and you move on, it's a whole different world. So I can tell and I can see that Big Verge feels different. He's not thinking about the injury anymore. So it's great news for us because I always said it. Players like Daniel Sturridge, a lot of it was, yes, them getting injured, but a big chunk of it is mental.
Yeah.
Because once you get in that mental state and all you think about is getting injured, you're more likely to get injured because you're overthinking everything.
Mhm.
It's like my favorite. People won't like this. The reason I became a Liverpool fan in 98, 99, Michael Owen, injuries ruined his career. And a lot of those injuries were just repeat injuries because again, mentally he was in that circle, in that time. That's it. Harry Kewell. Mentally, he wasn't there. So for Big Verge to say that he's feeling good and he everything feels better is huge because it's not about how you feel physically only, it's also about how you feel mentally. And I said mentally a lot. So weird. But yeah, it's great news. It excites me, it makes me happy, and I see another few seasons in him where he's at the top level before he goes and gets his generational wealth.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with Verge, though, I mean, like, this is kind of the bare minimum that we need in terms of us trying to challenge for the title, right? Because we need a Verge at least very close to what he was during that season where he almost won the Ballon d'Or for us to even get a sniff of the title. Because, like, let's face it, club teams, right? Club teams are always going to be offensively good, right?
Yeah.
The thing that separates this Liverpool team from his teams like in Dortmund, like because in Dortmund he didn't win the Champions League, right? What separated his best Liverpool teams was Allison and Verge, I feel, in terms of like us being stable defensively, us holding the line to kind of
Absolutely.
repel any counterattack. So I feel like, yeah, it's great to see Verge, talk and admit that maybe he's kind of coming back to where it was. So I guess obviously there talks about, like you said, the generational wealth and everything, him possibly leaving. Do you would you entertain the option of maybe getting, like, let's say maybe a year from now, right, 100, like, knowing how big these guys like to throw money at people, how big money
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I just think that I said this in a few episodes ago. Whoever missed the bus the first time missed the
Right,
bus long term. So I
right.
don't see us getting that much money for a Big Verge or anybody else. Um, but
Even if
listen,
if we do, would you? If we do.
I wouldn't.
Mhm,
I
I
wouldn't.
wouldn't too.
I
Yeah,
would keep a one-legged Verge over anything else in the world
yeah.
because I love the guy. What he has transformed this club from us saying, "Man, we can't defend," to saying, "Dude, we have the best player in the world."
Mhm.
And that's rare to see in a defender. You see it in a midfielder, you see it in a striker. You just rarely see it in a defender. I mean, the last time a defender came close to winning Ballon d'Or was Cannavaro when he actually won it. Cannavaro
Yeah.
when he won it in 2006, Fabio Cannavaro. And that was after a wonderful season and then a wonderful World Cup. And then he was just unstoppable everywhere. And that's the closest we've seen.
Mhm.
And Cannavaro was competing with the likes of, Ronaldo, Nazario de Lima, Luis Figo,
Yeah, yeah.
all those wonderful players, Zidane. Um, and then now Big Verge was competing with Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen anything like that. And I wouldn't lose him for the world.
Yeah, Sir Z makes a point here. Best judgment of VVD is our performance without him, barring the Villa game, our defense. Yes, it's kind of like a deal where you kind of don't realize what you've got until he's gone. I feel
Yeah.
with Verge. Like,
Yeah.
people are critical of him being slower, missing that quick turn and stuff like that. But listen, without him, I feel like we'll definitely feel that. So I don't know. For me, I feel like him. I believe he mentions in this interview how he looks to Thiago Silva as an inspiration in terms of keeping his body, up to speed and knowing, adjusting his game as he gets older. That's definitely good news. And hopefully, as the years go by, Verge for one stays a red. Like, because obviously, aside from Gravenberch, he is my guy there at Liverpool. Like, he is my
Understandably
favorite
so.
player. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, Thiago was in the running back then too. I think, says Tim. Damn, like, Tim not here, still throwing the Thiago shade, and on, like, you can't.
No comment.
No comment. Right. So yeah, good news on Big Verge. Moving to a bit more, something that's a bit more divisive, which is McAllister at the 6. Like, we hinted that we were going to talk about it, and Tim sent us this useful graphic yesterday. Obviously, this is a comparison with of McAllister with some of the better, or rather the premier players at his position, which are Declan Rice and Moises Caicedo. So what stands out to you here, Anan?
Two
Like,
things.
yeah,
Two things
yeah,
stand out to me.
yeah.
Forward passes
Mm-hmm,
tells you his mentality. Holding
mm-hmm.
midfielders tend to take the ball, turn, and go to keeper, go to a
Right,
defender because they're too worried to distribute. Tells you
right,
this guy wants to be a part of that team going forward.
right.
And his passing accuracy. His passing accuracy is lower, not significantly, but lower because he's not turning around and giving it to the keeper where you're going to make that pass 9 out of 10 times and then maybe you'll go forward once.
Yeah,
He is playing those long balls that we saw. He's playing balls out wide. He's playing through balls. Tells you his desperation of where he
mm-hmm,
wants to be. He doesn't want to be in that 6.
yeah,
He wants to move up. He knows what he's capable of. He knows what he can create in the middle.
yeah.
Yes, he's got more tackles. Yes, he's got a similar amount of interception. We shouldn't compare him to Caicedo. Caicedo's a piece of garbage. Yes, I'm salty. But tells you that this guy needs to go forward. And I still think he needs to go forward. I don't think he belongs at the 6. Listen, numbers look great. But overall, in a full performance, if they look this good of him playing as a 6, how good would they look if he plays in that 10 position? If he plays
Yeah.
in the open, if he plays in a position where he wants to be, he wants to go forward, not go back. And against City, that might bite us in the booty.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask you. So, like, obviously, we've been talking about Endo during the last few games. He's had some moments of, him being a typical 6 in terms of being
Yes.
disruptive to the play, something that we've seen more with Fabinho than, let's say, Jordan Henderson or an Alexis McAllister. But obviously, and this is kind of me spouting my opinion here, you can't start him against Man City. You can't start Endo against Man City. So that leaves us with McAllister. So again, you mentioned that you're not feeling too good about that. Maybe, just maybe, Anan, because obviously we're going to be on the back foot against Man City. Maybe his ability to ping a ball here and there, make that killer pass might be the difference, right?
Yes, that's possible.
Right.
And I'm not too worried that, oh my God, City will like destroy us and shit on us because we don't have a true 6. I'm just worried that they'll be able to break that easier. Because when you got a true 6, they're going to play completely different than when you have an attacking midfielder playing in that 6, trying to defend. But also in his head is, oh man, as soon as I get that ball, I'm going to play that long ball, man. It worries me. It worries me. In an ideal world, Endo would start in the 6, but we don't think he's ready for that. We just don't see it. Listen, no shade, no disrespect to Endo. He's limited to what he can do, and we're okay with that. We didn't sign him as a marquee signing where we're like, oh, this is the new Casemiro. No, we signed him to fill in a gap for a season or two and move on. So, yeah, McAllister will start at the 6, but man, shit.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
Sparky's asking here, and you have to be very careful with what you're going to say here, Anan.
You got the answer already. I mean,
who are you dropping if you move to Mac to attacking mid? Yes. I'm actually going to concede here because I know certain someone is going to be moved to the bench. Yes, I think Gravenberch is probably that player, considering how Mac is a bit more experienced, is a bit more refined, I guess, to the nature of competition in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But let's not dwell on that, right? Let's not dwell on that. I'm like thinking about it. So I guess
January,
my question
when
is,
Andre comes.
Yeah, when Andre comes. Actually, when Andre comes, it's going to be, I'm actually for that. So I guess if Andre doesn't come, this isn't sustainable though, is it? We're probably going to be, do you think we can maintain a title challenge, I guess?
Yes.
We can.
Yes. We've played well enough to know that we can maintain a title challenge. But the question is, for how long?
Yeah.
How long can we keep going? Yes, maybe we'll go for 30 weeks, 22 weeks, 28 weeks. But how long can we keep going without a true 6? The talk is Andre's coming in January. Then the talk is Andre's not coming in January. So it's a tricky one. Because I like McAllister and I want him to excel at his right position. And right now I feel like we're doing him bad. We're doing him a disservice by playing him there because all I see after the games on Twitter, oh, McAllister is a problem. Oh, this, oh, that. But a lot of people are forgetting this is a creative attacking midfielder who likes to play that box-to-box football, playing at the number 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear the fact that he chose the number 10 shirt
Yeah.
Right? Like he had an idea of where he was going to be playing. It's that what the reality is, it didn't end up working out that way. So let me just give you a scenario here. When we challenged for the title back in 2014, we nearly won it, right? Because unfortunately, shit happened, and I'm not going to go into that, right? But Stevie played the six in Brendan Rodgers' side. He was not a six in any way, shape, or form. I'm just food for thought here. That almost worked, if not for a little bit of misfortune that any other day could have been avoided. Right?
But
Yeah.
we conceded so many goals, but we just scored more because of Luisito.
We do have the attack to kind of match that attack, though, don't you think? We have better depth for one.
Maybe.
Right.
But what Suarez was doing that season on his own was unbelievable.
You don't
I
think
would watch Sky Sports before the game, and they're like, "Yeah, Liverpool will concede 4, but they'll score 5." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's right. Liverpool will score 2, will concede 2, but they'll score 3." And that's the attitude that we had at the time. Is that the attitude we have now? We have the options, but we haven't been fluid where we're like, "Oh yeah, we'll score 10, we'll score 4." But back then when Suarez suits up and you see the little tape on the hand, you see him and Studge getting ready to go, you're like, "Oh man, this is gonna be lit."
Yeah.
So I don't know. Why risk it? We also fell apart at the end of the season. So that's what I said. How long can we maintain it for?
Yeah. It would make sense. Just food for thought. It almost worked out. Almost.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Yeah,
absolutely.
almost. Yeah, that things could have gone differently. And the whole butterfly effect thing. If we did win the league that year, maybe we wouldn't have gotten Klopp and all that stuff. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise.
We would have still been, it's a great character.
Yeah,
you never.
Cersei says Trent as a 6, Gomez RB. It's a good thing Tim isn't here, Cersei, because anything that puts Trent centrally, Tim is gonna explode.
Cersei, you ready? You've earned our first reckless of the day, because that was reckless. It's actually not a bad idea if Trent has had more time in that position this season, but to make such a big move in such a big game is a little bit, what do we call it? We call it reckless.
Yeah. It kind of took me a bit to catch on to that. I was like looking for my mug. Where is it?
What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing? Ryan says he'd rather have a black lab playing the 6 than Mac. It's a little harsh, Ryan, and he's still pushing for the black lab. I mean, listen, by all accounts, he hasn't been that bad. Like he's had weaknesses here and there. Like he's trying and he's actually making it work sometimes, right? The issue is, against the biggest teams, it probably won't work. So that's why we're probably
it's like going up against Rodri and Bernardo and Haaland and Doku and Walker. I mean, all these guys coming at you, and you're an attack-minded player. You won't do the job as much as a Fabinho would, or as much as a Casemiro would, or as much as a Thiago would.
For the City game, we kind of need him, like you mentioned on those stats about him playing more forward passes. We kind of need more of those safe passes, because City are gonna kill us in transition if we give the ball away after a risky pass. So I could definitely see the worry there with McAllister. But hey, season's not done. We still got January to worry about and talk about. So hopefully Liverpool do something.
How crazy is it that we're like a month and a half away from January?
I know. I was like, it's Thanksgiving next week. It was just January 1 yesterday of this year.
I feel like we just started this, when I joined in, it was like the first week of August. Right. No, first week of August, and it was such a sunny, transfer market open. Yeah. Let's do this. And now we're like, so what are we doing in January, man? We need a whole new midfielder. That's crazy.
Hey, thankfully though, not saying that it's our doing, Anan, but the Reds have started playing well ever since we joined the show. Food for thought here. Just food for thought.
The complete opposite of reckless. That is brilliant. That is absolutely safe and sound. I 100% agree with you. Right. And we start our coup today. We're going to overturn this. Make sure you block Timucin off of this. That's it. He never has any.
In case you guys didn't hear, there's a civil war going on here at American Scouts.
This is going to be called American Scouser Thiago Gravenberch Nunes. That's what it's going to be called. But yeah, man, it's been a good season. Listen, it's been a good season so far, and I'm not complaining. I just think I just think McAllister needs to move up. But anyways, what else we
Yeah,
got?
yeah. I mean, we'd all be out of a job if there was nothing to talk about. To be fair,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
that's
so.
true.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
true.
speaking of more good news about this team, uh, Premier League table after 12 games in terms of XG, Liverpool are number one here.
Is it because of how much Nunes misses?
So, like, I don't know how much Anon you put into XG, right? But again, like I mentioned a while ago, it's like the hallmark of a club team. We've always been good offensively, right? But my worry is like obviously looking in the context of this season, we have a decent attack, but how much of that attack, in terms of it being free flowing, is because of Mo? And I mentioned Mo is because he's leaving in January for AFCON. Like how I guess what I'm trying to say is, are these numbers good? How good
Yeah.
are these numbers are because of Mo? That makes sense. Yeah, I kind of fumbled that one, but you get what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
And listen, big part of it is Mo.
Yeah.
And it's scary because he's leaving in January. He's contributed
It
to a
is.
goal or an assist
It
in the
is.
last 10, 15 games or whatever that may be. But listen, we're okay. We got, and I mean that in the
Anan, be
best way
honest. Be honest
possible.
with me here. Be honest with me here.
No, I mean that in the
Yeah.
best way possible.
Mm.
This is that one. This is the season where we have options where we won't panic. Listen, yes, Mo is our best player. And when you're losing your best player, it's worrisome.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's worrisome enough where we're like, we're done. I don't think I don't think it's a wrap. Now, listen, if you told me Allison is going to be missing for the 3 weeks, I'd say it's a wrap.
Yeah.
But with Mo missing, yes, we're going to lose on his goals. We're going to lose on his assists. We are going to lose that spark of the best player in the Premier League on your team. But I think we'll be able to survive enough until he comes back. We'll be able to have, 2, 3, 4, 5 games where it should be just 3 games, 3 weekends. Yeah. Yeah, where we're like, oh, and Europa, but he's not. Yeah. Where we're going to still score goals because we can put, move Diaz on the right or maybe have Nunes on the right, Elliot, Bendo. We're going to have options to make it work and figure it out. And I'm sure Klopp has already started that plan ahead because it starts the 13th of January. So literally 2 months away. Egypt will go far. So my concern is just he doesn't get injured. That's all I care about.
Right. Ryan says 2 years ago we lost Mo and Mane. We did fine then. I think we'll be fine this year. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, hopefully
Yes.
so. Because we know how we've lost titles by a singular point twice. So we know how big it is to be dropping points against teams that we should be beating. So hopefully, Ryan, you're correct there, and the fact that we'll be fine. Cersei says the way that the AFCON group stages have been planned, we won't be missing Salah due to the winter break. Yeah, I forgot about that winter break. I don't know how.
True.
Yeah, I don't know how long that's going to be, but if the Premier League is going to be pushing for that, considering they just freaking flood us with games towards the end of December, I think it evens out. And I'm surprised they didn't think of this easier.
So because the last game is going to be January 1st, and then we're off till the 21st of January. The Cup of Nations, the African Cup of Nations starts January 13th, and it goes on till February 11th. So let's take a look here. How many games he would miss? Well, he definitely misses. Oh boy.
Are you changing your tune a little bit here?
I have officially changed my tune. I have. If they go all the way, he misses Chelsea on the 31st of January, and misses Arsenal on the 3rd of February. And that's it, because then he misses Burnley.
Chelsea's at Anfield though. Might help us out.
Yeah.
Might help us out, right? Like, yeah, those are those are serious games to miss.
Serious games to miss.
Yeah. Listen. Like, I guess we won't know how good our attack is until we test them without Mo, right? We can't be saying that we have the best attacking depth in the world, but then it's all reliant on one player.
Yes.
And it would just be negligence on Klopp's part to not plan for this. So, knocking on wood, and again, Cersei reminded me that I jinxed the hell out of things. Hopefully he's planned, this early for that specific period, because that could be aspiration destroying in terms of the league title.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's look at the here. So they're gonna play. Egypt's gonna play Mozambique, and then they play Ghana, and then they play Cote d'Ivoire. Oh, Egypt's not making it out of that group. We're good.
We'll
We're
take
good.
your word for it then.
We're good because let's say if they make it out of the group, they gotta play Senegal or Cameroon or Guinea. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, they're not going far. We're okay.
Yeah, well,
He'll be back. He'll be back by the third week.
again, though, a part of me kind of wants our attack to prove themselves without Mo. Because as much as we'd like Mo to stay for the rest of his career, there is always the possibility of him either moving to Saudi or another league. So we're going to
Yes.
have to adjust it without him at
So
some.
I know we're hitting that. I know we're close to our end here, but let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Next year, this off season, summer hits. Euro is happening. England's winning the Euro. It's coming home. We have now an option: 125 million from Al Ittihad for Mo,
Hmm.
or another 1 year extension for Mo, or 2 year extension to keep him at the club. Which one are you taking? And this is a question for everybody. This
Yeah.
summer, are you taking 150 million, 125 million for Mo, or are you taking an extension to keep him at the club?
For me, I'm taking an extension. Like we've talked about this in the Discord actually. In terms of Harry, one of our writers, who's made some appearances here in the show, kind of mentioned how even at his age, Salah is still pretty much world class in terms of like how he's been compared to his first season and now. There's not much difference, so it just speaks to. And I was actually going to touch on that. It's a good thing you brought that so I could segue to it better. Mo Salah has been uh, Klopp's most used player, right, throughout his entire managerial career, with 26,337 minutes on the pitch today. Like, wow, that just speaks to Mo's durability. That just speaks to him how he takes care of himself
Right.
and his body to be used that much, right? And not even show like let's be real, he hasn't in terms of like how he was during his first year. There's no decline in his game, whether it's physically or mentally or technique or whatever.
Agree.
All of it has improved. So
Agree.
based on those facts, man, I'd probably take the 1 2 year extension because I feel like there's probably one, two, even three more seasons at him playing at this level. So yeah, no brainer for me. Not at all.
I mean, yeah, I would take an extension as well. I think we can benefit. We can still benefit a lot from Mo.
Mhm.
And there's absolutely no reason why we should consider the option of selling him if that option arises, just because we know what he's capable of.
Yeah.
I saw a graphic the other day. I wish I saved it. I'm looking for it. Um, a cool little graphic showing Premier League scorers of all time, and he's close
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
getting the Thierry Henry number. He's close to. He could actually. I think if he stays in the league for 2 more seasons, I think he gets that second place from Harry Kane.
Mhm.
And that just tells you what this guy is. We're talking about a winger who is one of the highest scoring players in the Premier League. And
Yeah.
listen, if we can keep him for 2 more years, even if he declines 75%, we'll lose 5 to 7 goals. That's
Yeah.
still 30 plus goals a season or 25 plus goals a season.
Yeah.
So
He's
yeah.
not. Yeah.
Um, so I'm not listening to any offers. I'm keeping him. I'd let him, ride out his whole career here. That's it. Once it's over, it's over. Retire as a Liverpool legend, top goal scorer in the club, blah, 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 and just move on. Because in our lifetime, probably the best player we've seen when it comes to scoring goals is him. We can
Yeah.
compare him to Nino Torres. We can compare him to Luis Suarez, and we can compare him to Darwin Nunez. These are the only people I'd compare.
I love people are gonna be making a meme like I love how we snuck Darwin in there. Like as if we wouldn't notice. It's like
Yeah, he didn't think we would notice. Yeah,
Ryan says if he wants to stay, keep him. If not, sell. It's very blunt, Ryan. But I like the directness of it.
and I think that's how we'll operate.
Right.
If he
Cersei
wants
says
to
two
stay,
year
keep him.
extension. Yeah.
And that's exactly what I think. 2 year extension.
Right. HMH, yeah, 2 year extension as well. Cersei says not bad for a 1 season guy. Yeah, it's what 8 season wonder now, 7 season wonder. Like I forget.
Yeah, I love that. The one
Yeah, yeah,
season wonder. I love that. I
yeah,
absolutely. And United fans started that and it backfired so bad. And I love it.
yeah. Well, let's try and end on a positive note here, Nan. And I'll throw you a question. So
Uh-oh.
it was actually part of that whole thing that I shared. Is he Klopp's best ever signing, Salah, for you?
That's a trick question.
No, no, no. Any answer is right here. I feel like obviously.
Club side.
Please don't say Darwin though, because
Oh, okay. Okay. So
yeah,
that's where the trick is. Okay.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I would have said Thiago. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Club's best signing. I think any manager that gets to manage Salah would be their best signing because who would have thought the guy who flopped, I'm going to use NBC sports terms, flopped so bad in the Premier League, uh, comes
Sounds
back.
like Tim Howard there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, guys, I thought that was a great game. I think the way they defended was amazing. But yeah, like for Liverpool to sign a guy, and some of us fans were like, didn't he like suck so bad at Chelsea? Why is he here? For him to
Yeah,
take that guy under his wing and turn him into one of the best players in the world for 8 seasons in a row with no decline
yeah.
tells you anything and everything you need to know about the guy. For him to come into the Premier League and break all these records and continue to break records and continue, like you said it exactly. It's been 8 seasons and he hasn't changed. He hasn't declined. If anything, he's gotten better. Yes, him and Virgil van Dijk in that order, and
Yeah,
Allison.
Cersei said it's
Oh, look
very
at
much.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Whoa, this is just a really positive day. You and Cersei agreeing with a lot of things. Yeah, I'd probably give it to Mo and Allison as well, because if you're talking about the best players in Klopp's side, it's probably him and Allison who've never had bad or subpar seasons. Like
Right.
every season, those guys have delivered, have been world class, and yeah, so long may it continue. But unfortunately, guys, our time here is up. As much as you've enjoyed myself and Anan taking the reins over here in terms of our little American Scouser civil war. Let's be a little quiet about that. But
Yeah.
we were out of time here. But yeah, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a reckless, not so reckless. I mean, reckless morning, like reckless weekend or whatever. Yeah, check out their coffee. It's really good. The mug as well. It's really nice. It makes me feel important. So check out the website at recklesscoffee.com, and we really appreciate them sponsoring the show here. But yeah, Anan and I will see you again sometime next week, and have a great weekend, everyone.
Have a great weekend,
Take
everyone.
care.
Take care.